This morning I received a letter of resignation from Bill Peters, which I accepted. Effective immediately, Bill Peters is no longer a member of the Calgary-Flames organization. What I'd like to do over the next few minutes here is just give you an overview of the timeline of events the last 3 or 4 days, give you some insight into what's taken place. Please bear with me and please understand that there's information that I can't get into. There may be questions that I cannot answer. But as we've attempted to do throughout this process, we'd like to be as open, honest, and transparent as possible. On November 25th in Pittsburgh, during the game, I was made aware of a tweet on social media from Akeem Alou. Post-game, I immediately met with the media, informed them that we were aware of the allegations, obviously something that we take very, very seriously, and that we would immediately begin a review of the entire incident and issue. Post-game, prior to departing to Buffalo, I made a call and contacted Akeem Alou, which was the first of 2 conversations that I had with Akeem throughout this review. On the plane, we were going from, where were we going? We were going from Pittsburgh to Buffalo. I sat with Bill and questioned him about the incident in question and had a long conversation with Bill traveling to Buffalo. Once we arrived at Buffalo, I met with my staff, communications staff, management staff that was in attendance, and we put together an action plan of how we would move forward. And the 3 critical areas that we felt that we had to have on that plan is, number 1, was to conduct a full review of the situation, of the allegation, of the incident. And it had to be thorough. I've been criticized a lot over the last 3 to 4 days that things have not moved quickly. They've not moved in a timely fashion. If I've not met anyone's time agenda, I apologize, but it was more important to make sure that we get all of the information. This was something that needed to be handled correctly. It needed to be handled in a timely fashion, but I was not going to trade carelessness for thoroughness. Second part of our action plan was dealing with our team. We were in the middle of a road trip dealing with young men that were made aware of this allegation. I met with the team on a number of occasions. Number 1, needed to provide support to our players, needed to provide information and updates. We checked to see if there was any situations in our team where people were put in situations that they were not comfortable with. There were none. But dealing with our team was important. And then third part of this was dealing with the media. We tried to give you as much update as we can, as regularly as we could, with as much information as we could. The media speaks to our fans, speaks to our stakeholders, and we thought it was very, very important that everybody was kept up to speed on this process. It may not have been perfect, but we tried our very, very best. Later that night, too, I communicated with Bill that he would not be part of the team. You know, on the immediate basis, we had a practice the next day, and that he wouldn't be taking care in practice, or be taking part in practice. November 26th really started the review here. Obviously, the allegations took place in Rockford. I contacted and tracked down various members of the organization, 5 players that were part of that team, management of the Chicago Blackhawks, management at that time of the Rockford IceHawks, members of the Rockford IceHawk coaching staff. I again met with our players on the 26th, and we also prepared for the game that was going to take place on the 27th. That was at that time now on the 26th, informing Jeff that he would be coaching, moving Craig Conroy down onto the bench with Ryan Huska and Marty Jelena, and really the host of issues that take place on an operational standpoint. Later that day and into the early evening, I became aware of allegations that took place in Carolina. On the 27th now we'll move to, I met with Bill, informed him that he wouldn't be traveling with the team, that we would fly him home to Calgary, which he did on November 27th. And at that time, I made contact with past and current members of the Hurricanes management staff, as well as the player that went public with allegations of contact. And these things take time. Players are all over former players are all over the globe, so we tracked him down and spoke with him. We played that night on the 27th in Buffalo, and during the game I received a letter from Bill, which also went out publicly as a statement that was addressed to me. Yesterday, we arrived early hours on the morning of the 28th. I gathered sort of the information put together the information that we had been gathering, obviously communicating both internally to the people within our organization, senior management, ownership. Throughout this process was involved and communicating regularly with the league, and continued to follow up on calls that I needed to follow up with. That brings us to today and the resignation letter that I received from Bill this morning. I conclude this of saying the subject matter that we've been dealing with over the last 3 days is difficult, it's hard, and it does not in any way reflect the core values of the Calgary Flames. It's been a difficult time, but we are going to move forward. Jeff Ward will be our interim coach. I met with our players this morning, and we're ready to move beyond this and focus on the game on the ice.